Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuron Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Caitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakarajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pricharine Nirviseshasha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we continue our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 2, Text 6, Canto 2, sorry, Chapter 6 and Text 22. So let's continue. Are you all able to see the verse?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yasmad andam virajajne bhutendriya gunatmakaha tadravyam atyagad vishvam gobi surya ivatapan. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. From that personality of Godhead, all the universal globes and the universal form with all material elements, qualities, and senses are generated. Yet he is aloof from such material manifestations, like the sun, which is separate from its rays and heat. The supreme truth has been ascertained in the previous verse as Purusha, or the Purushottam, the supreme person. The absolute person is the Ishvara, or the supreme controller by his different energies. The Ekapad Vibhuti manifestation of the material energy of the Lord is just like one of the many mistresses of the Lord, by whom the Lord is not so much attracted as indicated in the language of the Gita, Bhinna Prakriti. But the region of the Prabhat Vibhuti, being a pure spiritual manifestation of the energy of the Lord, is, so to speak, more attractive to him. So the supreme truth, Purushottam. Purushottam means, Purush means person, Uttam means the best, the supreme, the supreme most. So previously it has been already declared that the Supreme Person, the Ishvara, he has many energies, his spiritual energy, his material energy, his marginal energy, and he controls these energies. Not that he's controlled by the energies. He's the owner of the energies. So the material world, this material manifestation, Krishna calls it Bhinna Prakriti, means it is his external energy. She does not associate with the Supreme Lord, but his spiritual energy, his internal energy, he keeps that near him. He is more attracted to that internal energy. For the Lord, actually, from his viewpoint, there is no difference because it's his one energy. It is only in our eyes that this same energy, when we want to forget Krishna, she helps us to forget Krishna and she acts as Mahamaya. But when we want to get closer to Krishna, then she helps us to come closer to Krishna, remember Krishna, engage in devotional service, and she acts as Yogamaya. Is that okay? So for him, it's the same energy. It's like how the same electricity can be used to use the air condition or the heater. So the energy is one. The Lord therefore generates the material manifestation.
So both, like what you were trying to say is that both the external and the internal energies are his energies. We cannot consider either of them like of low standard or higher standard. They both are his energies, right?
Yes, and from his point of view, it is the same energy.
Okay.
Because he's looking at it like that, right? It's his energy. But because we are looking at it in another direction, so this Maya energy, because we want to forget him, this energy helps us to forget him, helps us to cover him. But when we want to see him, she helps us to come closer to him.
Okay. And so this is the spiritual energy, the Ekpad Vibhuti?
The spiritual energy is the Tripad Vibhuti, because it's the 75%. And the Ekpad Vibhuti is the 25%, which is called the material energy.
Oh, okay.
So is it Maya? Is it Maya?
That's right. Mahamaya.
Mahamaya. Oh.
That's right. And then the Tripad Vibhuti is the Yoga Maya, his Krishna's internal energy. So Krishna, it does not keep the Mahamaya with near her. She's given the task of keeping the souls, the conditioned souls like us in the material world, you know, but the internal energy, he keeps near him. So actually from the point of view of the Lord is the same energy. It's the difference that we make this difference. So for our understanding, it's mentioned like this, you know. Of course, the Mahamaya, she has a different function and she's personified by Durga Devi. And then the internal energy is personified by Radharani. Although the source of all energy is the spiritual energy, is Radharani.
So that means that even the Tripad Vibhuti, that is the material energy, the 1/4, is also very dear to Krishna.
The Ekpad is the 1/4. Ekpad, you know.
Oh, sorry. Ekpad is the 1/4.
One portion, yeah.
So Tripad is the spiritual one that is already with Krishna in the spiritual world, right?
Yes, that is the spiritual.
3/4. Oh, yeah, Tripad, matlab 3/4, and Ekpad is the 1/4. Yeah, in the right. Okay.
That's right. So from the view of the Lord, everything is situated in the Brahma Jyoti. There is no difference from him, you know, on his viewpoint. It's just that because we are in this material world, we are seeing everything as dark because we are inside this dark.
Okay.
The Lord therefore generates the material manifestations by impregnating the material energy And then within the manifestation, he expands himself as the gigantic gigantic form of the Vishwarup. So how does he do? Krishna, he of course expands himself. He expands himself, and from his body, from the Mahavishnu comes all these universes. All these universes are coming out, and he has put all the elements over there. By his glance, he puts all the elements, including the living entities, inside this material manifestation. The Vishwarup, as it was shown to Arjuna, is not the original form of the Lord. The original form of the Lord is the transcendental form of Purushottam, or Krishna himself. It is very nicely explained herein that he expands himself just like the sun. The sun expands itself by its terrible heat and rays, yet the sun is always aloof from such rays and heat. The impersonalist takes into consideration the rays of the Lord without any information of the tangible, transcendental, eternal form of the Lord known as Krishna. So the impersonalists, they get confused. They think that the light, that is the supreme, without understanding that the light has to have some source. In our experience also, we can see if there is light coming, we understand, oh, the sun is out. The sunshine is coming from the sun. Or if it's dark at night and we turn off, we see some light, then we understand, oh, there is some bulb that is on, some tube light that is on. You know, there has to be a source of light. Light is not a source in itself. So the Brahmajyoti, the source of the Brahmajyoti is Sri Krishna, Shyam Sundar form, with 2 lotus hands, holding a flute, 2 lotus eyes, with a peacock feather in his hair, curly black hair. That form of Krishna is the original form. He's called the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Krishna in his supreme personal form with 2 hands and flute is bewildering for the impersonalists who can accommodate only the gigantic Vishwarup of the Lord. They should know that the rays of the sun are secondary to the sun. And similarly, the impersonal gigantic form of the Lord is also secondary to the personal form as Purushottam. So this Vishwarup that people imagine, because they are not able to understand that Krishna has a personal form, Shyam Sundar, that they imagine that the Vishwarup is there. Well, of course, Krishna also showed this Vishwarup to Arjuna just to show him that how all the universes, all the living entities, all the material elements, the senses, the sense objects, how everything is within the body of Krishna. But his primary form is Shyam Sundar, the Shyam Sundar form. The Brahma Samhita 5.37 confirms this statement as follows. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Tabhirya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabhihi Goloka Eva Nivasti Akhilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, the one who enlivens the senses of everyone by his personal bodily rays, resides in his transcendental abode called Goloka. Yet he is present in every nook and corner of his creation by expansion of happy spiritual rays, equal in power to his personal potency of bliss. So Lord Brahma, he composed the prayers, Brahma Samhita, in which he says, the Brahma Samhita are beautiful prayers. After Lord Brahma got the Vedic knowledge, he got the realization, he understood that Krishna is the supreme seed-giving father. Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. That, oh my Govinda, you are the personal form and you are the seed-giving father of everyone. So in this, he's saying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, the one who enlivens the senses of everyone by his personal bodily rays, resides in his transcendental abode called Goloka. So Krishna, Lord Brahma is telling us what's the address of Krishna. He's living in Goloka. And one of his names is Govinda. Why? Because he makes all our senses happy just by this rays which are coming out from his body. The Brahmajyoti that is coming out of the body is coming from the body of Govinda, of Krishna. Lord Brahma is also he's also singing this in the Brahma Samhita prayers. He's stating it. And yet, although he is present everywhere by his bodily rays, he's present everywhere, he still is the controller of all the energies, and he himself is living in Goloka. Not that because there is the rays coming out of the body, his personal form is not anymore. Just like the sunshine and the sun. Just because the sunshine is coming from the sun and the sunshine is everywhere, and that's why we can see in the daylight. It doesn't mean that the sun does not exist anymore. It doesn't mean that sun dissipates and just becomes the sunshine only. No, the sun still remains the sun, and the sunshine is coming and spreading everywhere. The same way, the light bulb still remains the light bulb, and it just emits the electricity, the light from it. So same, Krishna still remains Krishna. It's just the body, the light is coming from his body and it's spreading everywhere. So he is therefore simultaneously personal and impersonal by his inconceivable potency, or he is the one without a second, displaying complete unity in a diversity of material and spiritual manifestations. He is separate from everything, and still nothing is different from him. So everything is in the body of the Lord. Everything comes from the energy of the Lord. So because everything is in his body, we can say that nothing is different from him. Yet his personal form is different. In his personal form, he lives in Goloka. This is his inconceivable potency. In our imagination, in our limited thinking, we are unable to imagine how God can be simultaneously, everything is belonging to him, and yet he is separate from everything. We can see in a large organization that the order of the CEO is being carried out. He doesn't have to personally do all the work. The clerks are doing their work, the managers are doing their work, the different departments, they're all doing their work based on whatever orders are given by the CEO. But it doesn't mean that they are working on the orders of the CEO. He's the one who's made this enterprise, but he himself is a separate person. So this is Krishna's inconceivable potency. The light which comes out from him, that is his impersonal feature, and his personal self, Shyam Sundar form Krishna, that is his personal feature. Is that okay?
Very nicely explained.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Even that verse is very nice, no? Brahma, in Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda, Vigraha, Adi-Lila, Govinda, Sarvakarana. So he's the cause of all causes now.
That's right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So then we can continue to the next verse, text 23. Yadasya nabhayan nalina aham asam mahatmanaha navidam yagya sambharan purusha yavanrite. When I was born from the abdominal lotus flower of the Lord Mahavishnu, the great person, I had no ingredients for sacrificial performances except the bodily limbs of the great personality of Godhead. Lord Brahma, the creator of the cosmic manifestation, is known as Swayambhu, or one who is born without father and mother. The general process is that a living creature is born out of the sex combination of the male father and the female mother. But Brahma, the firstborn living being, is born out of the abdominal lotus flower of the Mahavishnu plenary expansion of Lord Krishna. The abdominal lotus flower is part of the Lord's bodily limbs, and Brahma is born out of the lotus flower. Therefore, Lord Brahma is also a part of the Lord's body. So, Lord Brahma, he's called Swayambhu, or one who is born without a mother and father. But if we see, how is he created? He's created from the lotus flower, which is coming from the body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who is an expansion of Krishna. So the source of Lord Brahma is Krishna himself. It might appear that Lord Brahma is just appearing by himself, but that's the reason Lord Brahma says, Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. That you, oh my Lord Govinda, you are the original seed-giving father. So even Krishna, he is the origin of Lord Brahma. So Brahma, after his appearance in the gigantic hollow of the universe, saw darkness and nothing else. He felt perplexity, and from his heart, he was inspired by the Lord to undergo austerity, thereby acquiring the ingredients for sacrificial performances. So when Lord Brahma, when he appeared on the lotus, everything was dark. He didn't know what's happening, who is he, what is he supposed to do. It was totally dark. Can you imagine? I mean, we are so used to have light everywhere, you know. Even if the sun is out, we have our electricity to keep us bright. But can you imagine that there is totally darkness and you don't know, you can't even see your own self, it's so dark. So Lord Brahma was like that, and he was in utter confusion. What should I do? What am I supposed to do? But within the heart, he was inspired by the Lord to undergo austerity. There was nothing besides the two of them, namely the personality of Mahavishnu and Brahma himself, born of the bodily part of the Lord. So there was only Garbhodakshai Vishnu was there and Lord Brahma was there. But of course, Mahavishnu, he had already put all the ingredients inside this Mahatattva. He's already put all the elements for the material creation, the earth, water, air, fire, mind, intelligence, false ego, all the senses, everything is there, but they are all in their unmanifest form. Unmanifest. Like for example, if we want to create a mobile phone, then we take all the ingredients and put it in the factory. But before we make the mobile phone, all the elements, all the ingredients are just kept as parts, you know. You don't know, you can make so many different things out of those. But at that time, it was all dark and all these were unmanifest, not visible. They were there, but not visible. But there was nothing besides the two of them, namely the personality of Mahavishnu and Brahma himself, born of the bodily part of the Lord. For sacrificial performances, many ingredients were in need, especially animals. The animal sacrifice is never meant for killing the animal, but for achieving the successful result of the sacrifice. The animal offered in the sacrificial fire is, so to speak, destroyed. But the next moment, it is given a new life by dint of the Vedic hymns chanted by the expert priest. When such an expert priest is not available, the animal sacrifice in the fire of the sacrificial altar is forbidden. So before, in the earlier ages, there were animal sacrifices were done. And as a part of this sacrifice, the animal, although would give up his body, but immediately he would get a new, younger body, or he would be elevated to a higher position, maybe even a human being. So it is not that the animal sacrifices were done for killing the animal, but it was for the elevation of the animal himself. I mean, imagine if we have an old body right now and somebody says, give up this old body and I will give you a new body. You'll say, sure, why not? You know, or I'll give you a better body. You don't need to go through the 8,400,000 species of life. And so these sacrifices were done by chanting some mantras, the Vedic mantras. The Brahmanas earlier, in the earlier times, was so expert that just by chanting the mantras, they were able to have the animal change their body. And then because of this sacrifice, a lot of pious credit would be given to the person who's performing the sacrifice, who's giving the money for the sacrifice, all that, you know. But in Kali Yuga, such sacrifices are forbidden because we do not have the qualified brahmanas to be able to, just by chanting the hymns, that they can kill the animal just by chanting, nothing else, you know, and they can give a new body to the animal or even a human body. So the sacrifice which is recommended in this age of Kali, because our lives are so short, because we do not even have the ingredients to do such sacrifices, to do these sacrifices, a lot of gold was needed, a lot of grains, a lot of gifts had to be given in charity. So it needed a lot. And we don't even have that in Kali Yuga. We do not even have such a lifespan. Our lifespan is, if even 100 years maximum, if even. And then our minds are so disturbed. We do not even have the patience. So the only sacrifice that is recommended in this age of Kali is the sacrifice of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the Sankirtan Yajna. That is the only sacrifice that is recommended in this age, which can give us the highest benefit of self-realization and God realization. Thus, Brahma created even the sacrificial ingredients out of the bodily limbs of the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, which means that the cosmic order was created by Brahma himself. Also, nothing is created out of nothing, but everything is created from the person of the Lord. So the ingredients of sacrifice, where did Lord Brahma get it from? It was there within the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Mahavishnu, who's outside the universe, had already put all these ingredients inside the universe, inside the body of Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And Lord Brahma just needs to now take it out of his body. So everything has a creator. Nothing can say, I'm self-created. Only Krishna can say that. Only Krishna. Everything else has a creator. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 10.8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo, mata sarvam pravartate. Everything is made from my bodily limbs, and I am therefore the original source of all creations. So Krishna is the original source. When we say source, it has to be one. If we say there are many sources, then that means that's not the source. The meaning of source means to have one thing, which something is coming out from. And that original source is Krishna. Everything is coming from Krishna. Nothing can exist without Krishna. So anything we see and anything that we don't see belongs to Krishna. Why? Because he is the source. He is the one who's created everything. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can stop here for today?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shilpa
Jai Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.